Hi everyone, Catherine here from Inky Finger Cat, and my first proper play. I think I'm going to have a play with the Christmas season and Christmas to remember, the matching dies, which are the Christmas pinecone dies, and I think they're called seasonal label dies. Oh, I've lost my little sheet. Oh dear, where have I done that? Where's that gone? You know, would lose my head if it wasn't screwed on. Here it is. Seasonal labels dies. So I have been using some of these labels, but what I've not done is used any of the other shapes yet, and I've not used any of the stamps either. So it's going to be interesting to see what I come up with. Haven't got a plan, but I do want to use these. So I think what we'll do is we'll start with some die cutting, and we'll start with these amazing background type foliage dies. I think that's what we'll do, because aren't they just stunning? So it's a 2-layer. So you have this bottom layer, and then you have the more intricate layer that sits on the top. Sorry, just oops. So this will then sit on the top, so you get some depth and dimension. And then these pieces here are for solid and the more intricate shape on the top for the dies of the pine cones. And it looks like these are duplicates, so that's good because you can then cut out multiple at once. Makes time a lot easier if you wanted to do multiples of things. So let's have a go at playing with these. I always find when they're stuck to these cards, I really need to invest in some of those magnetic sheets, but they stick to the cards and they just fall apart quite quickly. So I'm going to do a wee bit of die cutting. So pause whilst I do that. Okay, so I've got some cardstock, and I've just, for this first one, we're just going to go in with Whisper White, I think. Yeah, let's just go with Whisper White. Let's just see how it cuts, because this is the first time we've cut it for both layers, and we can probably just add some ink brushed over or something in order to finish off. Now I'm wondering if I could actually cut them both at the same time. So all I'm doing is laying them up onto my cutting plate. I use a Big Shot. I've had it for years. It is not at its best anymore, but it is not yet broken. So, you know, I'm trying my hardest to be sensible and not buy anything new. I'm going to cut it off screen, and I know it just slightly wobbles the camera, so I'm really sorry about that. And I think because these are quite intricate dies, I'm going to do a couple of passes, and I will then turn over and do it again, go in the opposite direction, because as I say, I know my cutting machine is not like having a brand new one, and it has, you know, it's seen better days. So it just means it takes a little bit more effort for some dies to cut all the way through cardstock. In fact, that's still not cut all the way through. I can see that just by lifting it off. So I'm going to put a little shim in with my cutting plates, just to add that a little bit more pressure, and hopefully that should be enough to cut it. So when I'm adding a bit of shim, I'm literally just adding a piece of cardstock, scrap cardstock that I've got on the desk, and that should hopefully, you can see now, I can see most of the cutting lines. I'm not convinced it's completely gone through though, so I'm going to do one final cut, and let's see how we go. So sorry, that was probably the least interesting video to watch, but hopefully you could hear me. Just off to the side with my die cutting machine. I'm pretty convinced that maybe that's a bit of a problem area, but most of it should have cut now. It might take a little bit of work, and I have got a little brush that will help me to get out some of the pieces. But it looks like the more intricate one has cut fine. Let's just have a look at this and say this is the area that I'm most concerned it hasn't cut all the way through. In fact, I'm absolutely convinced it hasn't, so I am going to try and put that through on a second go. I say second go, obviously it's probably on 4 goes by now. Much happier about that. I think probably I made that worse for myself just by the fact that I was trying to run both through at the same time. I think it'd have cut a lot easier if I hadn't have done that. So there is definitely still a bit of a sticky plate over here, but I think most of it's cut through. This might just need a little bit of a little bit of gentle persuasion, shall we say, to release itself. I think there's a little bit of work to be done, obviously, on poking bits out. Oh, this is just gorgeous though. Do you know what? I love it. So I'm going to fiddle with it for a minute just to take all those bits out. So what I'll do is probably put this bit into fast forward. Okay, so that didn't take too long, just a few minutes, bit of fiddling. I mean, that is just glorious. And I can imagine cutting it up, using it in different pieces, not necessarily keeping it as a complete one. And then also when you're layering it on top of the background piece, that provides you with obviously so much dimension to each of the elements. And that's before I've started adding any form of colour. It is just stunning. In fact, I'm very tempted to not add any colour for this card at this point and maybe just stamp a sentiment. I'm not sure. So I don't know if you're like me and you absolutely hate all these little pieces of paper that come out. I love these sorts of dies. I hate the fiddliness. Can completely recommend getting one of these brushes just to, you see how you've got little bits of paper stuck in, well, paper, the same paper, it's card, stuck in, brush it through with your brush. They all pop out, nice and easy, nice clean dies. And then all I need to do is quickly brush up all of the bits. So I'll see if you can see this. Don't know if it can go out, and you see the little puddle I've got over there? Yeah, nice little puddle of bits, which I can just scrape into my hand and then into the bin. It's gone. I mean, there's loads on the floor, but you know, doesn't matter. So I'm actually thinking, I mean, I just love that. It's just gorgeous. And I'm very tempted to not add any colour to it at this point and to have a little play with maybe some of the stamps. And maybe, let's have a think. Yeah, I think we might play with some stamps, some of the other dies, and a sentiment. So these stamps are the red rubber stamps. Now, I've been using Stampin' Up products for a long time, and I don't ever add the stickers onto the back of the stamps because it used to be that they were terrible. They never used to then stick. I've heard things have changed, and I'm very tempted to have a go. So I'm thinking, let's have a go with this one. Let's see what happens. So you take your sticker. Does that work then? Because it's that way up. Goodness. Well, see, that had me fox for a minute because that's super sticky. And I wasn't expecting it to be super sticky because they never used to be. But maybe that's how it now works. But they are super sticky. Can't get the back enough. Now I've potentially stuck it to itself. There we go. Wow. I'm impressed with that. Because what happened was you then couldn't always see, and they were never lined. So like the straight line, you might think that that's a straight line. That might not have been in line with the straight line. And I'm wondering if that then sticks to that, protects it, and then you take that off. Ooh, I'm a bit excited about that. Right, I'm waffling. Apologies, I'm waffling. It's been a long day. I've had quite a long day in work, and in addition to that, I've just had some slightly sad news. My parents are having some real problems with a neighbour that they have, who is just, you know, frustrating. You can't guarantee the neighbours you're going to get, can you ever? No, he's not been very pleasant, and there's potentially a drug thing going on, and yeah, so my brain's a little bit like, oh, I really wanted to do some crafting. So even though I'm in a weird and wonderful mood, you got me. So I'm just going to slightly zoom in because I've realised you're slightly in a weird place now. Oh, you've now got the light. There we go. That's better. Though I did learn last time I was editing that I can edit by zooming in, so I perhaps don't even need to do this and zoom you in whilst I'm recording. I'll probably just do it in the edit later, so I need to try and remember that. So I'm going to use my, what's this called, Mossy Meadow, to stamp my sentiment. I probably over ink that, and I have to be very careful not to rock the stamp. Really important not to rock your stamp. Also, I find it important that you don't just stamp down and off. I think that especially with a darker colour, you really want that ink to soak into the cardstock. I mean, the basic white cardstock takes the ink so well. It's a really good stamping cardstock. It's worth the extra money. I don't always use it, but I find that if I am doing something that's got like a finer edge or something, more precision edge like the text, I want a good quality cardstock. So I got all excited about that stamp, all working. I'm now thinking, right, which of the labels does this fit? So it's amazing, this stamp and die set. It's actually a bundle that's 2 bundles. I think that'll fit it. That'll fit it perfectly. So when you first open them up, you think that they've put the wrong dies with the with the stamps and dies. So you get Christmas season comes with, in the bundle, with the seasonal labels dies. I think. Yes, that's right. That's the right way around. So those goes with this. Okay. And that's fairly obvious, as in you've got the holly leaves, you've got the other leaves, etc. You've also got a shape for the 2 pine cones that you can stamp. But then you would have thought that this stamp set, the Christmas to Remember, would go with the labels, whereas instead it goes with these intricate dies, and similarly the dies that have got those fabulous layered pine cones. So it's a bit of a weird one, but actually the designs all 4 work together. So it's a bit more of an investment if you're to buy 4, as in to buy 2 bundles, but they work together so well that I think it is well worth it. So I'm going to just die cut that little label with the sentiment. And I think if you did want to save money, then probably the set that you would not buy is you would buy both stamp sets, and you would buy this bundle of these dies, the seasonal labels dies, because they go with all of those sentiments will go that are in the Christmas to Remember will go in those labels. Those labels are obviously really handy to have at all times. Plus, this cuts out the shapes that you've got on this Christmas season set. So if you were going to try and save money, then the dies that you wouldn't buy are the ones that do this. But then these are amazing, so why would you not want to buy these? And obviously you get 10% off if you buy them as a bundle, so hence I bought both. But it wasn't cheap. I'm not, you know, I do get it. Stampin' Up products are not cheap. Quality is always excellent, so that's why I buy them. I know it's an investment, and I know it's not cheap, and most people, you know, feel a little bit like, oh, that's a bit more pricey than I can justify. I use all my stamping supplies all the time, so I think I get value for money out of them. I love the products that I create with them, so I'm more than happy to do the extra expense, knowing that that is, you know, a considerable purchase. It's not something small, and I know that that's not for everyone. So that was me rambling a little bit about the cost and all the rest of it, but you know, each to their own. Right, I am so far already loving what I'm doing. I know that I've added hardly any colour. All at the moment I've got as a sentiment that's got a dark mossy meadow colour, but I'm now thinking I'm going to add a few of these additional leaves in there to just add a little bit of something else. So I'm going to start with this shape here, which you probably can't see very well, so let's just bring the stamp set across. It's this shape here, and again I'm going to just stick to mossy meadow for the moment, but I think I'm going to stamp it and then stamp it off, and I might only use the stamped off version, I might use both, I might only use the first generation ink. So first generation, second generation, I like both of those. What they'll look like on there, I'm not entirely sure yet. I think I'm only going to stamp one of those. I might change my mind and stamp it again in a minute. This is why you're creating with me. Do not have a plan. Never have a plan. I'm certainly not very good at planning when it's the first use of them. And these are all completely new. I just love them. So, first generation. Don't think I inked that very well, but still, second generation. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Now, do I want to add the berries or not? No, I think we'll go in with a different one. I think we'll stick to leaves. Oh, can I just also, I know I'm rambling about random stuff. So Stampin' Up! Have changed the way they do the packaging now. And so on the inside cover, you have a picture for all of the images, which when you've got your clear stamps, it's perfect because you know exactly where you're lining them up. I just love that. Very, very clever. Still not so keen on the fact that we have a very flimsy sheet in there, but you know what? It's never broken on me. It's always worked. Sometimes you just have to go with what you've got. So, you know, when I said I didn't think I'd stamped it up very well, inked it up very well, I think I had inked it fine. I think the issue is that, of course, it's a painted finish. It's not a perfect solid image, which you can see when you look at these, that there are some like touches where it's lighter, etc. So it wasn't that I hadn't inked it up well. I just forgot it was a painted texture type finish. So I'm now going to grab my dies that work with these shapes. So these are fabulous. No fussy cutting for me. I am going to use a little bit of washi. You don't need to. especially not if you've got those lovely magnetized type plates and all the rest of it. But as I said earlier, my die cutting machine is a little bit old. It's a little bit past its best, and things tend to move a little bit if I don't take them into place. So I am gonna die cut. I will turn off the camera just so that I can do it off screen, and I need to do it twice because obviously I've stamped each item twice. I may come back and also do the holly leaves, I've not decided yet, or the berries, again, not decided yet. I just love the fact that there are loads of dies. So how many dies are in this set? Do I have it somewhere? Seasonal labels dies. 19 dies. 19 dies in this set. It's just wonderful. And I love foliage for adding to cards, and I'll add these ones. These aren't Christmassy, they could be anything. Use those all year round. I love them. Right, I'm just going to go and die cut. Okay, so die cut those. So I want to just have a little look and see if I want to add any more, and whether I want to use the lighter coloured ones. Or the darker colour ones, or a mixture of both, which is probably what I'm going to choose to do. I think, you know what, less is more is less. No, I think in this case more is more. You know what, I think that'll be nice. I think we need some kind of, maybe a nice ribbon or something along those lines. I've been on a bit of a green theme recently, so the last cards that I created all on screen all ended up very green. Not wrong with that in my opinion. I really like those, and I'm thinking just putting them on a card. Doesn't need anything else. What do we think? What do we think? Please, you know, you need to put comments in as to what you think. Have I gone mad? Am I okay? Do I want a colour layer underneath? Do I want a bit on a white card? I'm going to go and grab a white card to make a card blank. Let's see. Okay, so I've just grabbed a white card blank. Is it too white? Do we want a green layer? All right, let's find a green layer. Okay, I found some green cards. So it's not the right colour green, but it's just giving me a judgment on, do I want green behind it or not? Or do we like it white? Is there another colour we might put behind it? Like, for example, some crumb cake. Do we put crumb cake as a layer behind the white? That's what we do. Okay, so we need to cut a base that's the right size. So I think we'll go for centimeters by 14.4, because normally in card blank it's 14.9 by 10.5. That gives us a nice base, and then we can stick this on the top with our bits and pieces. Right, let's just, just had a moment then. Don't want to emboss this. Is that going to be too much? Ooh. I often forget about embossing things, and that's the reason why I'm sort of stopping. I'm just thinking, if I have this piece that's left over, let's emboss this and see what it looks like, and we'll be able to see whether it's just a bit too much. Now the other thing we need to decide is which embossing folder. I'm absolutely in love with this. So this is the Time Worn Type one, which is in the Autumn Winter catalogue. It's sort of in the autumny section. So it has got like some of the words I can see there. It says harvest. Doesn't really matter what it says, but it's a really aged, vintagey look. Now I can't quite remember which setting I had to put this on through my big shot, but so is that too much? Well, do you know what? It's not too much, it'll be fine. So I'm just going to put that to one side. I'm sure you'll use it on another card soon. But for now, I am going to add this into there. What I forgot last time was just give it a little spritz, because it is one of these very 3D kind of folders, and it just helps the fibres to break up a little bit more if they've been wet a little bit. Otherwise it's a bit harsh on the cardstock, and it can crack. Whereas if you wet it, they tend to bend a bit rather than to crack. I mean, that is just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. And obviously it's a little bit damp now. Oh, just love it. But I think that onto there. I know you're not going to see most of it, but it'll just, I'll know it's there. That's what I always think. You're not going to see it, but I know it's there. I know I went to that effort. And I know it's beautiful. And isn't that what the crafting's about? It's about what I know, not what other people see. Probably should have stuck some tape down that bit as well, but never mind. Right, I'm going to stick these two bits together before I stick them onto the card, I think. I think the quickest and sensiblest way is not the way I'm going to do it. The best way probably is to take a little bit of sponge, put some glue onto your glass mat or whatever your creating surface is, sponge onto with these delicate pieces. I'm not going to do that. I am going to dot glue, and it's going to get a bit messy. And do you know what? I'm fine with that. That's the kind of mood I'm in. I know I'm on limited time now for crafting because I have just heard the husband go downstairs, which means tea. I'm having my tea cooked tonight. We're having tacos. It's not Tuesday, it's Friday, but we're having tacos for tea. And I can't wait because I really like those. We haven't had them in a few weeks, so good. But yes, he is now cooking tea, which means I'm on not so much crafting time now. But I should probably have enough time to just finish this card, I hope. So it's a one card crafting video tonight. Not going to do multiples. I'm just going to do the one. I'm not so bothered if I've not stuck everything down, but I just want a reasonable amount of it sort of stuck so it's not lifting too much when it's going in and out of the envelope. I think that'll probably be enough. And you can see there it's probably not lined up perfectly with the image below. But you know what? It's 3D. We're talking about something that is natural and in real life doesn't line up perfectly. But isn't that just gorgeous texture that you're going to get on your cards? So as I said earlier, there's loads of ideas with this. You could cut them up. You don't need to keep it as a full panel. Obviously, if you cut it from cardstock, it's going to start looking completely different. If, for example, you might have done a bit of ink blending, you might want to run this over with an ink blending tool. It's again going to look completely different. But on this one, I just had the urge to keep it white. Oh, I'm really pleased that I did emboss that panel underneath. That is gorgeous. Gorgeous texture. I love a card with texture. Just really, really love it. Now, I'm thinking that this might go central now. Originally I was over here with it, now thinking central, and we're going to create our coloured leaves going around. We're going to mix them up a little bit. Which ones are dark, which one's light, where they go. I'm not going to be particularly concerned that it's not symmetrical or anything along those lines. And then I think we might raise this bit onto some dimensional foam tape. That's how we're going to do it. So I'm going to leave them in place. If you lay something up and you're really happy with how it looks, I advise you to take a little picture. And then when you take your pieces off and you've forgotten exactly how they sit, you've got a picture that reminds you, actually I really liked it when it looked like that, and you can try and recreate like that. I haven't done that. Obviously this is all on video, so I could pause, go rewatch the video and find out that way, but I can't be bothered. So I'm going to take that one off. I know that it was slightly over layering this one. I'm going to put that there. And you know what, even if you've not done it and you're only just sort of guessing, I'm sure you'll still come up with something that's gorgeous. It's just that if you kind of go, that is perfect and exactly how I want it, that's a good way of doing it. Take a picture, because then you don't lose how it was that you wanted it. So all of these pieces, they're reasonably thick die cuts. They're not very intricate. They're quite a bold shape, so they're quite easy to add glue to when you're adding them onto your project. I am thinking raise it up. I'm also thinking I want some kind of ribbon. Didn't think that before, but I do now. Right, I did buy ribbon with this bundle. But I don't know if I want to use that because that's red. And it's gorgeous, but I don't know whether I want the red and the gold. Oh, I don't know, but I'm thinking I do. I think because it's a very gold, it sort of works. It breaks up the fact that I've gone completely green and natural, but doesn't look odd. I'm thinking I just want some bits of ribbon coming out the side. Do I want to do it that way? I'm pausing, I'm not 100% convinced. Or do I want to put something a bit different there? So I might choose something that's like an old ribbon or something I've had in the stash for ages. I might not be stamping up. Just having a little dig in my ribbons box. Really need to sort out my ribbons box. I'm also contemplating so this was from the that red. This was in the spring summer catalogue. I don't think that this has continued. Could be wrong, but this is the Blackberry Bliss. And it's quite a sheer ribbon with a bit of a stripe to it. And that maybe with a little bit of this as well, which is the linen thread, which I could use forever. It's just so lovely. Thinking that maybe at the top and the side. Just sandwich it to see what it might look like. I mean, that looks hideous, but I'm liking it. Right, time to fiddle a bit. So does everybody else do this with ribbon? Like completely spend ages just fiddling to get it in the right shape and in the right direction. And then when you stick it down, it looks completely different again. That's what I do. So I'm thinking something like that, which is that too narrow for this? Does that work? That works. Right. So this is my little trick. When I have placement of ribbon like this, I want a bit of double-sided sticky tape. Just a small amount, because I just want to stick that so it's going to stick in place. I can fiddle with it a little bit more. Am I happy with that? Yep. Oh, see, another loop's escaped. This is what I'm talking about with the fiddling. So I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to do the same on this side. And hopefully now most of it's stuck to something. It's not. I'm going to just lift it. I don't want to lift the entire ribbon, I just want to lift the back in. There we go. And then stick that down. How's that worked? Just turn it over. Yeah, I think that will be fine. Right, I'm going to stick that in place. Doesn't need to be stuck that securely because this is going to pin it into place properly. But it just needs to be stuck enough that I can do my next layer. So my next layer is this linen thread. So some advice, if something's come on this kind of a tube, use your thumbnail to just run along it, not too firmly, it just straightens it out a little bit, which means it's less challenging to work with. Because at the beginning it was incredibly difficult because it was very tightly wound. And that will sit over there. And again, I'm just going to fiddle with it a little bit. This will stick it into place. Are we happy with that? Yeah, we're happy with that. Oops, I pressed down too hard. Right, some dimensionals. I don't have proper dimensionals, but I do have little foam squares that came from the normal craft shop that I've now lost. They were here on my desk, but I do a little bit of a tidy. I didn't think I'd tidied those away. Where have I put them? Where have I put them? Ooh, this is a pest. Okay, we might not go with dimensionals because we might not have any. Where have I put them? Answers on the back of a postcard, please, to the Blue Peter garden. You know, the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I've just lifted up exactly the same items. I'm expecting to find something different. Right, can't find my dimensionals stroke little mini foam squares. So next best thing, bit of kids craft foam. I am going to create my own little foam thing. I'll just use my normal ATG to stick that down. Do you know what? It's probably better for it. Oh, doesn't want to stick. In terms of, it'll give it more stability. And can we stick that down? Yes. Right. That should secure that. Super happy with that. Not super happy I've lost my foam squares, but I am super happy with that little card. Look at that. Now I am thinking I want some gems because I really like adding gems. So what have I got in my little box of tricks? So I have a box that's just got loads of random gems in that I am just trying to use up. And you know what? I think they'll do nicely. So I don't know which gems these are, whether they're Stampin' Up. I think they're Stampin' Up ones. Pretty sure they're Stampin' Up ones. But I don't know how long I've had them. They're not in their packaging anymore. So I can't tell you much about them or where you can get them from. I've now lost my pokey tool. There it is. Okay, I thought it was just going to be the constant, and I've lost that, and I've lost that, and I've lost that. So these look a little bit holographic-y in terms of their finish. I think they're really pretty though, and we're just going to sprinkle them at random on the card as a finishing touch. And I always go for odd numbers, so if it's not 3 I go for 5. So that one's gone for 5, and they just add that a little bit of bling, a little bit of something different. And I think I'm not happy with how that's adhered, and I'm thinking, you know what, now it's all together as a bundle, we're going to stick a dollop of glue, which should just hopefully make sure everything adheres and sticks in place. I think because I'm adding it to all that texture, it's not got a good enough surface area to adhere it. Now I do think we need something on the inside of this card. What do you reckon? Isn't that just so pretty? Love all that texture these dies add. I am like, ooh, and I could do this and I could do that. I think there's a few ideas going to happen. We have a holly jolly Christmas is what we've put on the front. We've not added any holly, but there you go. And I think we'll just go with Merry Christmas on the inside. Now, do we add the little sticker again? As soon as I got so excited last time, I think we do. However, I'm going to learn from my mistake of last time and just slightly lift that label because it was difficult to get off. And we need it to marry up, otherwise it won't stamp straight either. Oops. Okay, this is where I get frustrated because it's that thing like, you know, when you put get a new phone or device and it comes with a cover and you have to get it so it's straight and you then end up with bubbles in it. That's what I'm sensing is about to happen. Catherine's about to get frustrated. Lovely, like that. Yeah, looks nice and straight. So we're going to go for, probably should have cleaned this surface a while ago when I was playing with all that glue. Didn't. It's okay, nobody touches the back of a card, do they? We'll go with Merry Christmas just in the centre. So cute, so cute. Lovely sentiments, they are beautiful. The script on them is just gorgeous. The font, sorry, on them, it's just gorgeous. And then I think we'll just add, you know, these little leaves. Just add a little bit there. I think maybe there. Oh, I don't know. Maybe we'll do it coming in. We'll do that. We'll do it as a stamped off one, I think, so it's not too dark. So I'm just going to grab that a little bit of leftover card that's there. Stamp off and go in with second generation. That's cute. Now we'll do the same here. Stamp off, second generation. Just adds a little bit of something on the inside of the card, and we've got an absolutely gorgeous, full of texture card front going on. Now if I had an envelope to hand, which I haven't, I would probably do couple of those leaves just on the envelope. In fact, I've got time. Grab an envelope. Always easier said than done. No, not the wrong size. Simply the wrong size. So the good thing about buying card blanks is that you get the envelopes and then I can't find them. Yes, that's the right size. So I think we'll do the same. We'll do it now since I've got time. Might as well do the finishing job, Catherine. And I think we'll just do 1, 2, like so. And then we'll do one of the other foliage stamps. We'll choose and we'll just do that as well. Oh, the set is so beautiful. So beautiful, and I've still hardly used anything. There's so many stamps in the stamp set. I'm just thinking I've not even touched pinecones, have I? I've not stamped or die cut a separate pinecone at all. Just so beautiful. I'm thinking that's lovely. Do I want to do any more? No, Catherine, step away. You've not got time anyway. The pool will come up in a minute saying tea is ready. Look at that beautiful card. Because it was a white card blank, I've not done an insert. I've just done it straight onto the card blank, which is always risky because obviously you could make a mess on it. But then all you do is you just add another layer and it's absolutely fine. And there we go. There's my play. So this is from the Autumn Winter catalogue. If it was a good demo, I'd have it to hand. There we go. I'm a reasonable demo. It was reasonably to hand. So this is the Painted Christmas Suite, which I completely lost. Bear with me. This one here, Painted Christmas Suite, and you can see here that die would look completely different if you did it in coloured cardstock. You could just do the one layer. You don't have to do the both layers. And as you can see here, these have got the various different elements, but they've been stamped in a very different colour scheme. You've got the sentiments that all fit with those labels, and you can see here this is how they bundled together. So your Christmas season with the seasonal labels, they bundle together, and then the Christmas to Remember, which is all sentiments, bundles with those really gorgeous intricate pinecone dies. Now it actually comes with that ribbon that I did trial but didn't use, which is the Cherry Cobbler and Gold metallic ribbon. It comes with these gorgeous gold leaves, holly leaves, which I haven't used. I did open them to have a look at them. These absolutely gorgeous little gold leaves, which come in a couple of sizes, 15 each of the 2 sizes, so there's 30 pieces in total. I seem to have problems with this box. Oh, it's got a slight nick in it, that's why I'm struggling with it. Yeah, so those gorgeous things, and then the beautiful Painted Christmas 12 by 12 papers, which I also have, but I've put them away so I can't get them out. They're absolutely glorious too. But that is my version. And what did I also grab? I grabbed that time worn type embossing folder, didn't I? Which is just here, which is £9.25, the time worn type 3D embossing folder, which is a 6x6 size embossing folder. But I also grabbed that for the background because I just love it, and why not? So I did use a bit of the ribbon that was from Spring Summer catalogue. Yes, the Spring Summer mini catalogue, so I don't think you can get that anymore, which is the Blackberry Bliss. But obviously it would work with any other, and I certainly did think about using that red, but I just spotted that and I just thought, no, I want to use that. Something a bit different, and a bit of the linen thread. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please do give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Sorry it was a bit rambly. I'm just in a rambly mood. And I hope to do more videos showing off this suite of stuff. So I've not used any of the papers. I didn't end up using the ribbon. Not use those gold things. Just the gorgeous stamps and dies, which is a considered purchase. I completely agree, it's a considered purchase. I splurged and treated myself. Why not, hey? I know I'm going to use it. I know I've got so many ideas for using it that I'm going to use it lots. So please subscribe to see more. There will be more videos using this, other things that I've bought. I have had a bit of a Christmassy splurge, so there's going to be lots of Christmassy projects, but also projects probably that are not Christmas themed, using these stamps and die sets too, because certainly those stamps with the foliage, stick a flower with them, there's nothing to do with Christmas at all there. I think that there's plenty of use for those stamps as well. And potentially even the die background. Yes, it's fern and there are pine cones, but that could be autumnal. And actually they're all year round, aren't they? As a tree, they're there all year. So it doesn't have to be for Christmas either. Until next time, I'm going to stop rambling and say bye-bye.